There was an empire that ruled Mesopotamia with fear for centuries. It destroyed cities, overthrew kings, and possessed one of the most powerful armies the world had ever seen. But its greatest enemy was not an outside kingdom. It was a rebellion growing from within. The fall of the Assyrian Empire would begin with Babylon's struggle for freedom, a king's betrayal, a war between two brothers, and the fall of one of the greatest cities in history, Nineveh. This is the story of the collapse of Assyria and the rebirth of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. The era of Esarhaddon, the search for peace with Babylon. After the death of Sennacherib, his son Esarhaddon ascended to the Assyrian throne and, unlike his father's harsh and destructive policies, he tried to adopt a more balanced approach to governance. The conflicts between Assyria and Babylon in previous periods were not merely a political struggle between two states. At the same time, they were a major issue concerning the identity and independence of Babylon, one of the oldest cultural centers of Mesopotamia. Esarhaddon chose a different path to reduce this tension. He began the reconstruction of Babylon, repaired the damaged temples, and revived the cult of Marduk, the most important sacred value of the Babylonian people. His goal was not to keep Babylon completely under control, but to establish a balance between Assyria and Babylon, because both cities held great political and cultural importance in the Mesopotamian world. However, Esarhaddon also foresaw the throne struggles that could emerge in the future. Therefore, while he was still alive, he divided the administration of the empire among his sons. His eldest son, Ashurbanipal, became the king of Assyria, while his other son, Shamash-Shum-Ukin, took the Babylonian throne. At first glance, this arrangement seemed quite clever. The two brothers ruling different regions could have made the empire more stable. However, this decision was actually laying the foundation for a future great conflict, the Shamash-Shum-Ukin Revolt, Babylon's last attempt at independence. Shamash-Shum-Ukin carried the title of Babylonian king, but the real power was not in his hands. The military forces, the state treasury, and the empire's important decision-making mechanisms were still under the control of the Assyrian administration. In a thousands of years old cultural center like Babylon, this situation created great dissatisfaction because the Babylonian people wanted to be an independent kingdom governed according to their own traditions. In 652 BC, Shamash-Shum-Ukin launched an open rebellion. This uprising was not merely a struggle for a king's throne. It was also Babylon's attempt to free itself from Assyrian rule. The rebellious king quickly managed to gain the support of many regional powers. The Chaldeans, Arameans, and Arab tribes supported him. In addition, alliances were formed with Elam and Egypt, the rivals of Assyria. However, the force he faced was enormous. Ashurbanipal mobilized the entire military capacity of the Assyrian Empire. After long years of warfare, Babylon was placed under siege. Although the city showed great resistance, it eventually surrendered to the Assyrian armies in 648 BC. Thus, Babylon's dream of independence came to an end once again. After this, Ashurbanipal began to directly control Babylon and appointed its kings according to his own will. However, this victory would not become a permanent demonstration of Assyrian power, because the empire was now struggling more with its own internal problems than with external enemies. The fall of the Assyrian Empire and the rise of Neo-Babylon. Years of continuous wars, rebellions, and the difficulties of ruling vast territories gradually weakened the Assyrian Empire. Assyria, once the most feared power of the Near East, had begun to lose its former strength. After the death of Ashurbanipal, struggles for the throne began within the empire. Central authority weakened, and new powers emerged in different regions. For Babylon, history was repeating itself. In 626 BC, the Chaldean leader Nabopolassar rebelled against Assyrian rule in Babylon. He drove the Assyrian garrisons out of the city and was soon declared the king of Babylon. This event is considered the beginning of the Neo-Babylonian Empire in history. Nabopolassar I strengthened his control over southern Mesopotamia. He gained the support of local nobles, reorganized his army, and prepared for a great struggle against Assyria. Babylon was no longer just a city that remembered its former glory. It was preparing to rise again as the center of a new empire. The end of Assyria, the rebirth of Babylon. The rise of the Neo-Babylonian kingdom coincided with the collapse of the Assyrian Empire. Nabopolassar no longer wanted to rule only Babylon. His greatest goal was to completely eliminate the Assyrian power that had dominated Mesopotamia for centuries. In this struggle, Babylon's most important ally was the Medes, who came from the east. The Median king Cyaxares attacked Assyrian territories from the northeast, while Nabopolassar advanced from the south with his army. Thus, the Assyrian Empire became trapped between two great powers. In 614 BC, Ashur, one of the former capitals of Assyria, was captured. However, the real blow came 2 years later. In 612 BC, the Babylonian and Median armies besieged Nineveh, the heart of Assyria. Nineveh was one of the largest and strongest cities of the period. Because of its massive walls and powerful defenses, it had long been considered impossible to conquer. But Assyria no longer possessed its former strength. At the end of the siege, the city fell and suffered massive destruction. The last great Assyrian king, Sin-shar-ishkun, was killed during the battle. Thus, the Assyrian Empire, which had ruled the Near East for centuries, disappeared from the stage of history. From the ruins of Assyria, however, a new power emerged. Babylon had once again become the most important state of Mesopotamia. The rule of Nabopolassar was a period when Babylon was reborn, not only politically, but also culturally. However, the true peak of this rise would come under the ruler who followed him. Stay tuned for the continuation of the series.